if you wanted to start investing, but you don't really know where to begin, like there's so much out there, there's so many different technical financial jargon, overwhelm, right? In today's episode, we're going to dive into the exciting world of investing. I think it's exciting, right? Whether you're a beginner or you're looking for a refresher slash reminders, we're going to break down the basics of investing. We're going to talk about a couple of key concepts and simplify them so that it's not financial jargon and what the heck are you talking about? And then a couple quick steps to help you get started on your investment journey. Here we go. We are back talking about investing. This is a topic that I feel like we've covered, I've covered, of course, several times throughout my career as a financial coach, but I feel like it comes up, and the reason for that is there's a lot of like that feels so far away. That feels like you have to have a financial advisor, or I just don't get it. There's so much financial jargon in the investing industry, right? So we're talking today. I want to simplify it a little bit, okay? Because it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So the purpose was like, what's the reason for investing, right? Like, let's just start there. Most people start investing to fund retirement or to grow wealth or a combination of both. And you can start investing at any level. Like it doesn't matter how much income you have. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But investing in the stock market is kind of portrayed currently as like the only option. Now, it as like an entrepreneur, business owner, sometimes we have like that. We don't need the investment stock market. We just need to like hit income goals. And there can be some of that. Like that can be accurate. Okay, we'll go here. I feel like neither party is right because there's layers to both. Investing just in the stock market and counting on that for your retirement. We talked, probably 6 weeks or so ago about that, and like how the idea of retirement isn't really a proven strategy. So if you're just relying on your investment in the stock market to provide for retirement, like that's scary. That's not financial security there. There is so much, like even with the US dollar and any of that. But for the purpose of today, we're talking about investing. And that is one of the key things that you can invest in. Of course, all right, let's go here. Okay. So, main types of investments: stocks, mutual funds. That's really what most people think of. Real estate could be an investment. You can have investments in precious metals, gold, silver, some of those things, even like art, which that's much more risk adverse. If you're inside the academy, I have an assessment inside the offense, not an assessment, a chart inside the offensive category that rates these from least risk to most risky. And the only thing that risk simply means is like you have a higher likelihood of losing your money. It's not as guaranteed. Least risk is most of the time not seeing as much of a return, less of a gamble. There we go. That's how we look at the risk. So like CDs, where it just locks your money in for 3 years, 5 years, whatever you set the amount in, and you're getting a little bit of an interest rate built on that. And then you can't touch the money until then, until the 3 years or 5 years are up. Like that would be least risk, less risky. There we go. We're going to remember how to use our words. Less risky. And honestly, like right now, the savings account, like my savings account has just as good of an interest rate as the CD does. And then I still can access my money whenever I want. But of course, you got to do your own research. I'm just here providing the information for you. Let's just step by step this. First step you need to do is like know what you want to invest in. Okay. So if it's precious metals, if it's the stock exchange, I'm sorry. If it's precious metals, if you want to invest in the stock market with mutual funds, bonds, just stocks, etc. There's so many different options there. Whether it's real estate, whether it's cryptocurrency, doesn't matter. That's the first step. Decide what investment you want to start. And you can start multiple, but you got to like pick one to start, right? So pick that. And then what's the next step? Like you got to get started. So if it is something with mutual funds or stocks, those things, you can set up an account like with Fidelity and start with like $25. It does not have to be a large amount of money, but like you just have to get started. With real estate, that's a little bit harder. That is not my area of expertise at all. But you, like your next step for you is probably what type of real estate investment you want to have, whether you're looking for, are you going to be like an investor? Are you doing short-term flips? Are you doing long-term, like keeping tenants? There's so many different options there, but you have to know what you want. But make sure you're also prioritizing taking the action, because you can get stuck in that information overwhelm and not actually moving forward. You're just like, okay, but now I need to learn more. Now I need to learn more. So figure out what area you want to invest in is step number one. Step number two, we need to like, once you've picked your investment vehicle, then your step number two is like knowing the next step. So is it creating the account? Is it as simple as just making a purchase or finding a vendor for your gold and silver purchases? Or is it finding somebody that'll teach you real estate investing? Whatever it might be, it's just one next step, because we make so many things to be like this big, overwhelming thing. And there's a line from DC Legends of Tomorrow. And if you've attended Cash Flow Unlocked, you probably have heard me say this because I love it. Leonard Snart says, there's only four rules you need to remember. Number one, make a plan. 2, execute the plan. Number 3, expect the plan to go off the rails. Number 4 is throw away the plan. Like, just do the one next step. It's okay if things don't work out the way that you want. And that is the key with starting investing. Like, don't invest money when you're trying to figure this out that you can't lose. The key here is understanding, this is why we have the financial freedom account. So you have the designated amount of money that you can lose designed for investments like this. Now you can invest in your business and that's a whole different thing. But if we're investing, we need to invest money that we can afford to lose. Like if it just disappeared, you'd still be okay. That's why the financial freedom account has its own category within your budget. Some things to be aware of, like ask about fees, recurring fees or transaction fees. Learn. There's so many things that you can do yourself. I don't want you to feel like you have to go get a financial advisor. A lot of people don't need a financial advisor to get started. There's so many different resources out there. And we go into a little bit more inside the academy, but I'm here to provide you the information and you get to decide what you want to do with it. And I think the biggest thing to know is it's not a one size fits all. And one path is not the only option. So don't feel stuck. If you don't want to invest in the stock market, then don't invest in the stock market. If you don't want to invest in real estate, then don't invest in real estate. If you don't want to start in cryptocurrency, then don't start in cryptocurrency. There are so many different options out there. We didn't even talk about like angel investing and some of those things, investing into businesses. That's another option as well. But just getting started is going to help you overcome that fear. Just take the first step. Obviously, the fourth part of the Unstoppable Finances framework is having a coach, somebody to help you walk through it. Now, I cannot provide you financial advice, but we can walk through the emotions behind the investing and what you're afraid of. This is a gradual process, and the most important thing is to start. So, like, what do you want to invest in? What are you passionate about? And then what's the next step you need to take? Can you get started right now? Or is the next step learning information? And if that next step is learning information, put a deadline on it. Keep yourself accountable so that you don't get stuck in that learning loop, in that frozen zone. Like you're paralyzed. That's the word I was looking for. You're paralyzed. And I don't want you to get stuck there when it comes to investing. For myself, I wanted to get started in the stock market. So it was something that I could talk about with integrity with my clients. And I started with $25 from Fidelity. And we talk about like what the different options are, finding stocks, if it's stocks or mutual funds, like what all of those mean. Inside the academy, I don't think we've really gotten into that in another podcast episode. Let me know if that's something you want me to cover, because I could do that if we wanted to. Talk about what the different ones are so that you can make the decision that's best for you. Okay. Pick a vehicle, what you want to invest in, figure out what your first next step is, your first step, put a deadline on it, and then just do it. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know that you've gotten started investing, that you're not afraid, you're moving forward with confidence. Or if you've got questions, I want to hear from those. I want to hear those as well. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. Wondering what's next? When you're ready, there are different levels of support that you can use on the path to creating unstoppable finances and your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique and your support should be too. Ultimately, we'll create a customized plan to ditch financial struggle for good that works for you, your goals, your priorities, your life. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of our most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what your next step should be